Welcome to This Bridge. We are actually starting AWS, Amazon Web Services. So I think you all know about an AWS one way or other. It is a cloud computing platform. Okay, cloud. When you say cloud, cloud is a future, cloud is a present. Okay, a cloud is a backbone for modern technologies. 90% of enterprise applications are cloud-based applications, meaning enterprise applications uses cloud services. Okay, AWS one of them. AWS basically one of the one of the but top one cloud provider globally. AWS skills basically like in high demand, and we have like a lot of opportunities for grabbing the jobs. So AWS certified professionals getting more salaries in a way. Okay, like what are the positions we have? I mean, like a cloud engineering, solution architect, DevOps engineer, data engineer, and security specialist, cloud network architect, network engineer, that short. Okay, if you look at cloud, one thing that it is mind that reminds me that you know cloud is used for hosting the websites, building apps with serverless functions, working with databases, managing cloud security, things like that. Okay, so basically this cloud platform is means AWS platform basically used for you know uh, think of like being an entrepreneur, being a freelancer or a developer. So this is the one of the great place. Okay, so there are a lot of tools that the cloud platforms provides. Like if you are into web or mobile development, if you are into machine learning, if you are into games development or creating an IoT solution, or the automation like a DevOps and SRE, things like that. So there are the tools which are actually available in the cloud. Okay, so all the learners, so think of one thing, AWS basically offers certifications which are like cloud practitioner for beginner, and solution architect, DevOps engineer. This is like a globally recognized certifications. If you are a certified person, then you will be getting you know better opportunity and then better salaries. So that is kind of a motivation. The one more important thing that you have to remember is AWS, free tier basically let you learn and practice all the cloud computing platform knowledge. So that's why one of the motivation for you to pick AWS as a cloud platform for your learning. AWS. So AWS means a cloud computing platform. Okay. So what is mean by cloud? What is mean by computing? What is mean by platform? So think of imagine like what this means to us. Basically, if you look at a your local system, right? It means like a PC, personal computer, like a desktop or laptop. What is the first thing that it is mind? Make model. Okay, you're right. So but make model is not just only the thing, but you should also think of what is that speed of the computer, like a processor speed. What is an hardware resource available, like a memory, right? So these are called as a resources, computer resources. So when you say local system, the system which is actually next to you, like in your office, in your home, the place where you are working. If you physically, if you see, look at the your system, that is called a local system. So the other hand, what is meant by remote system? The system in the sense in here is we are talking about PC, laptop kind of a computers, like or high-end computers. The computer which is having like high resource in the sense like in your processing speed, your memory, your hardware resources, on-demand resources, whatever you name them. Okay, when you say remote means like system is not really physically present in your next to you, but probably I think somewhere else globally they are put together at one place and then virtually. and then you are you got the access to access them through by some means. But that's what meaning of local system and then remote system. So when you put all the remote system can also called as the servers in my for our instant. Okay, I will explain these words in the context of AWS, let's say. So these servers, right, remote servers, you can put together at one place logically. That is what we can call it as a collection of remote servers. So a cloud computing platform is basically a collection of remote servers. Does it make sense? Very good. So the reason you are saying cloud is something like one stop shop. What does that means is like so there is a unlimited resources available uh, even with the cloud based solutions. So what does means like you are talking about a computing power, storaging data, is one of the best example for you to understand what is mean by unlimited resources. If you need a more power, you will get on demand. If you need a more data storage, you will get on demand. So that's why we can call it as a unlimited resources. So the thing is like these resources you can actually get on demand access. So whenever you need it, you can get it. So basically like if you are looking at a local system, what do you think, like you have to buy hardware and then you have to use it. You have to, when you're buying, let's say you need x amount of resources, but when you buy the hardware you may not able to get the resources that you ask for, like the standard systems has its own specification. So sometimes you are buying buying available resource but that those are not fully utilized by your applications, things like that. But in AWS case, you only find out like what is basic requirement, how much processor you needed, means like how much computing power you needed, how much storage space that you need. Exactly same thing you can put in order, you can get it, and then you leverage it. So basically what I'm trying to say in this case is like all without having to buy or maintain a physical hardware. That's the beauty of like cloud based solutions. Okay, and one important thing that you remember, cloud is a network device. So network is like everywhere. So any application that you deploy in the cloud computing platform, that means that is a global reach, so access from anywhere else. For example, you are hosting a website need to be accessed throughout, right, everywhere you are in this globe. So that's why like best example is like web applications should be able to access anywhere. So anywhere solution means like you better place to think to hosting this web application in the cloud. Okay, and so hosting the applications, running the applications, and accessing through global, these are the some of the best simple example to understanding what sense to you about a cloud computing platform. There are many managing services which are available, so all use without having to buy or maintain the physical systems and availability. Cloud solutions are basically available. Next one. So we discuss it, right? AWS means like Amazon Web Services. Okay, one of the most popular widely used cloud computing platform is AWS, a collection of remote services. Think of it, right? So for example, cloud computing platform, basically you can think like an electricity. What do you do with electricity? Are you going to generate a build a power generation unit for your usage? No, right? What normally you do, like just plug in into the grid and pay whatever you use, right? That is what you do in commercially or in the home needs. Similarly, yeah, in the AWS, I mean in the cloud sense, okay, pay for whatever resources we use, that what you call it as a pay as you go. Got it? So this is a kind of like brief overview of what is mean by cloud computing platform. There is much more to explore, but this snapshot basically good enough to actually get this topic start learning. So let's look at a cloud computing platforms. So what are the cloud computing platforms that are available? So what are the companies that actually provides this, cloud computing platforms for us? So the first thing that we discussed about Amazon, right? So AWS is basically from Amazon. Azure is from Microsoft. This is like one of the cloud computing platform. Google also provides a cloud computing platform, which is nothing but like a GCP. Okay, Google Cloud Platform. We have like an IBM Cloud. We have a Oracle Cloud. These are basically like a cloud computing platform provided companies. Okay, so basically when you say like a cloud computing, the key features that you can think of, one is like on demand. What is meant by on demand? Use the resources when you need is called on demand. So resources means like you like computing and the storage. Okay, that's one of the top KPIs that we can think of. Second part is like an scalable. So cloud computing, you can think of a scalable, meaning what? So any idea, any guesses? Yes, correct. So when you basically like start the application, you might not even know that like what sort of the resources that you needed. Like you start from in a small, and then if you find like you need more resources, then you have to keep adding them as needed. That means like you can scale up the resources, or another way around also. When you don't require the resources, so much of resources that you blocked already, you can start releasing them back to provider. That is called scalable. You can scale up, you can scale down the resource utilization based out of your demand or on demand. That's what called as a scalable. Now you see pay as you go, meaning what? So you no need to buy anything, right? In this case, like you just pay whatever the resources that you're using. That is what called as a pay as you go. So let's say like next 1 month you need a resource, after that you don't require, and then within 1 month also you know that what resources that really you needed. So I think you just get them, and then use them, and then as soon as your job done you can release them back. That is what you say. So that means like you will be only costed for that days what are the resources that you are under use. And the second thing is the fourth one is like a global reach. So means like the cloud is basically a network platform, correct? Unlimited resource provider, but networking access through network. When you say network, like sort of like a global access, global availability. So you can access from anywhere in the globe. That's called a global reach. And then the fifth point is like most important thing is like managed services. Cloud service provider maintains and manages all the resources the instant that you bought it. You don't really need to worry about like how to manage the resources. Okay, and this is like basically like uh, very comfortable part, I think. So in rather you managing things, I think, in someone manages for you, that's headacheless activity, right? That's what the main services that you think of in in the cloud computing platform is like first thing is like computing. So computing is one of the thing, because all the machines called as a virtual machines. So cloud computing platform provides the virtual machines to you, so as a computing unit. The the second thing is like a storage. This is another main service of the cloud. Storage means like to storing the the files, object to storage and all. That's called a storage meaning. Okay, and also you think of like databases. Database means like SQL and MySQL and NoSQL. So these are the sort of the databases that you can think that, because one of the service within the cloud computing platform is like databases. The networking, so you might actually end up knowing what kind of service, network services that the cloud computing provides. Sometimes you need a private network, sometimes you need like a, content delivery networks and all. And then security, and analytics and AML. So big data, AI tools, these are basically like that you needed when you're working on the larger data, and then with the AML models. So that's why these are the sort of available as a services in cloud computing platform. So now you see, so how many things you can keep started seeing as a new terms, and then you get ready for actually getting the more knowledge in it. Cloud computing platform basically suits for like large scale application softwares. So what is mean by large scale application softwares, which is nothing but a enterprise applications. So means like you designed in application to support and automate the operations of large organizations or the business. It's nothing but a large scale application software, also known as enterprise applications. So what are the applications that you think of? One is like a customer relationship management, which is nothing but a CRM. So human resource management, HR systems, and supply chain management, and billing and invoicing. These are basically like in a very large scale applications. You can actually keep grow these applications as per your organization needs or demands. Okay, this is called typically this is like an enterprise application architecture. Okay, you have that bigger system enterprise applications like a web servers, application servers, databases, external systems. You are composed of like these are all, right? So short of like accessibility is like as a user, as a mobile device person, you can always like access globally all these. So that means you need to have hosting these sort of like enterprise applications on the cloud. So that is what you can think of as an architecting the solution. So what sort of the technologies that you think that enterprise applications normally uses? Okay, you have a backend, you have the front end, you have the databases, cloud, platforms, middleware, and DevOps. These are all things typically that you can think of. Uh, you know, uh, what are the tech? So which technologies that you will be, so seeing in the cloud-based solutions? When you say backend solutions, it could be like a .NET, Python, and Node.js. Okay, so and so on. So front end applications like UI based. So what you can think of like Node.js, React, JS, Angular. Okay, these are basically front end is basically like Angular, and then React, Vue.js, and all those things will come. Oracle, Oracle, SQL, Postgres are the databases. So databases is like one area that you can think of as a technology. And whenever you are using a cloud based application, so first thing that you should remind is like which cloud platform that you would like to use it. So that's what we are talking about. AWS, Azure, Google, IBM, Oracle, and all. Based out of your enterprise need, you can pick it up. The services provided by the cloud service providers. So these three are these five are the most popular one. Among them, I think the most widely used one like AWS, Azure, Google, and so on. Okay, now let's look at like a middleware. So middleware is also an important. RabbitMQ, Apache, Kafka, yeah, and so on. And then one more thing that you can always think of like a DevOps, mostly widely used word called DevOps, like a Jenkins and a Kubernetes, Docker. These are these sort of technology that we use as part of your DevOps. So backend, front end, databases, cloud platform, middleware, DevOps. This is like most frequently you might end up hearing as part of technology uses in enterprise based applications. Enterprise applications that we talk about is the larger applications. Mostly 99% these are like a cloud based solutions only. When you say cloud, that means again cloud platforms that you need to know, cloud provided services that we need to know, and then how you are actually leveraging the cloud platform for actually building or hosting these sort of bigger applications, and then being them maintained as an ongoing activity, isn't it? So that's why cloud computing platform, one of the cloud computing platform one should have to learn, whoever actually wish to work on this the cloud area. Here is the YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@matherspace. Feel free to visit for the more learnings. I hope you like the content. Please like, share, and subscribe the channel. Click on bell icon and also leave the comments. Happy learning. Thank you. Stay tuned to upcoming sessions.